because Albon has just driven around the side of his good friend.
Thompson with the giveaway. Here's a chance in front. Oh, what a goal by Taves Thompson! TNT blows it up.
Or Quinn.
Or Paterka.
I think they perform better. You know, just they have better chemistry. They move on the ice better. They pass better.
But it's adding on.
It's just going into the whole
Yeah,
Grand
it's
Prix.
adding on to the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship.
Evening, sports fans, and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Hour. I'm your host, Ethan Smith, and I'm happy to be joined today by Brent Casillo on this lovely National Pasta Day. So I hope you got a big bowl of spaghetti, some fettuccine alfredo to tide you over for the next hour. We're going to go into multiple different sports, talk about multiple different things. And Brent, it's been quite a week in the NFL, has it not?
It's been a hectic week in the NFL, if you
Titans
ask
have
me.
been toppled.
Yep.
Upsets have been had.
Upsets,
Tears have been shed.
Tears, a lot of emotion. There's been a lot of emotions this last weekend.
There's also been a lot of emotions in Denver. So let's talk about it. Tell me about what happened in Colorado last Thursday night.
So last week when we were on, we were talking about the Broncos and how it's not really Russ. Like he's trying all he can. It's really their defense at this point. That's what we were saying last week. It comes down to their defense. They have to be able to perform. This week, they only let the Chiefs get 19 points. That's pretty good.
Which is concerning.
It is
concerning.
You're holding Chiefs, who have one of the best offenses in the league.
Well, that's the thing. Do they still have one of the best offenses in the league? Think about it.
Well, then now we don't know.
This Broncos defense has given up 35 points to the Commanders.
That's true.
70 points to the Miami Dolphins.
That is
70,
also true.
7-0. That is a touchdown 10 times.
30 away from 100.
Yeah, and the Chiefs amassed a grand total of 19. They're 5-1, so grains of salt be taken with this statement, but the Chiefs offense does not look happy right now. Mahomes' weapons are lacking. His best weapon is over in Miami, having a record-breaking season. We'll get to that later. If you can only put up 19 points on Denver, there's college teams that could score more than that. So it could be time to hit the warning bell. But
does that also mean, like we were saying, like it comes down to their defense, but now you just held the Chiefs to 19 and your offense only put up 8. So like what's the issue? What's going on in Denver? Like,
maybe the Toronto Blue Jays, when the defense is good, the offense is bad. When the offense is good, the defense is bad.
It could be one of those things.
You can never find the happy the Goldilocks zone, if you will. But yeah, trouble is brewing in Colorado. They traded away their first-round pick for Sean Payton. He's gotten one win. Now I'm not a genius.
Now that's the other thing too. Does it come down to the coaching? Does it come down to the offense? Does it come down to the defense? Does it come down to the play calling? Because when we get into the Bills, we'll be talking about a lot of the play calling. So does it come down to the play calling for Denver? Does it come down to their head coach? What is it coming down to at this point? Like, exactly what you said. You let the Commanders put up 40. You let the Dolphins, the Dolphins are good, but 70 points in an NFL game is just insane.
Ridiculous.
And then 19. You only let the Chiefs put 19. The Chiefs have been averaging, I think 30 a week. So, what is it really coming down to in Denver? Is it just becoming a dumpster fire? Like, they just can't find a good median?
I don't know, but it's been a dumpster fire for a while. They gave Russ that mega contract. Obviously, they traded with their first-round pick for Sean Payton. I don't know. They've made their bed, and I think they're just going to lie in it now. The defense is bad. The offense is a lot to be desired. I just think it's time for a reshuffle of things as often as that gets thrown around in the league. I don't really see another way out of it for Denver.
Yep.
Moving on, though, to team that is very frustrating to watch. We go back across the pond to Wembley Stadium, where the Bills got robbed in broad daylight.
Oh, speaking of Wembley Stadium, did you hear where the Super Bowl of I think it's either 2029 or 2030 is going to be.
Did they say that? I thought it was a plan they had.
It's a plan, but
I thought they were like thinking about the idea.
That's brewing in the minds, but
Roger Goodell's in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's cooking. He's cooking right something.
Now.
But
I think that's horrible for the game, by the way.
It's so bad because think about it. Super Bowls are always at 6 o'clock, something like that. Mm-hmm. So now it's like if you do it in London in that year, whatever year they want to do it in, do you start that game at 8 o'clock so it's 4 o'clock for all of us, or do you start it like later than that so that it still feels like
Right.
it's a Super Bowl night
I mean,
for all
they're
of
6
us
hours
over
ahead
here?
of us.
That's what I
They're
mean.
6 hours ahead. So like, if they started at 10 p.m. over there, or is it 6 or 4? I don't really know which one it is. I think it's 6.
I think it's 4.
If it's maybe.
Because our game started 9:30 a.m. our time, but it was 1:30 their time. So
Whatever.
it could be 4.
I mean, whatever you're putting the game, it's going to be a lot earlier than it normally is. So whether or not that actually happens, they're 5. They're 5
they're
hours
5
ahead.
hours. 5 hours. Wow.
The idea just came into my brain.
Yeah, I don't know
Like
where that
sent
came from.
from a
It just
message
like
above.
just like fell down from the clouds there.
Yeah, like a light bulb moment from Despicable Me. 5 hours ahead. So if the game starts at 10 in London, it will start here at 5, which I don't think has ever happened in the Super Bowl.
No.
So whatever you do, like start it at noon. Yeah,
Why not?
Start it
Why
at
not?
9:30.
I'll get up. Well, actually, I mean,
I'll have my I'll have a sausage, egg, and cheese, and
I'll
watch
have my nice iced coffee.
and watch the Bills win the Super Bowl in Wembley Stadium.
We can only hope. With Ken Dorsey's playing calling, we don't know. But let's get into the game
But
here.
we're going off on a tangent. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Tennessee Titans 24-16. Titans suck. Ryan Tannehill's not that guy.
He's not. He's not
old.
that guy.
Derrick Henry, I don't know how he's doing it at age 31, but he's still elite to watch. He's one of the last running backs in the league that I think really still had that it factor, the ability to carry an offense. Jonathan Taylor comes back next week, so we're going to see what really happens with that. But like I said, King Henry's doing his part. The defense, I mean, Baltimore's offense really isn't that great. Odell Beckham Jr. is okay. Zay Flowers has been a flash in the pan. Mark Andrews, obviously, Mr. Reliable. I think this Baltimore team has really taken a large hit with the loss of J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, they have, and I think with that they still have a lot to prove because the Titans are a team that for the Ravens at least in my opinion, you should be. I mean, that should be an easily winnable game for them. I mean, Lamar Jackson, that's your guy right there.
Yeah,
and
barbecue chicken
against the Titans defense. Like, I don't know. I was honestly expecting them to blow the Titans out. So seeing that it's 24-16, and they had that close game last week, but I mean, this one was across the pond. Could have been with the traveling. I mean, we saw it with the Bills, but
yeah, obviously. I mean, take every London game with a grain of salt because playing in London is a joke. But
Yep. But I mean, hey, they pulled out the win.
I mean, they got the job done. And in reality, I'm half of the mind. I'm a split. I contain multitudes. So I'm half of the mind that a win is a win is a win. So like your number one job in the NFL, in the National Football League, is to win games, and that's what Baltimore has done. They're 4-2. They're in a great position. I think they're first in the AFC North. I think they've won most, if not all, of the divisional games. Lamar Jackson's looking okay. They're staying mostly healthy. The passing game is looking slightly better. The defense looks okay. Another part of me is you gotta be as good as you always are. You know, consistency is key. And a Ravens team on their best day is winning this game by 30, not 8. So I think.
And that's exactly why I thought that they were gonna. I thought that's what was gonna happen. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna. But I mean, then again, like you said, you can't. You got to take the London games with a grain of salt because traveling all the way across the pond like that. I mean, they probably flew out like 3 days beforehand. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to adjust to something like that. But I mean, they got the job done, pulled out the win. Good for them. They still have a good record. Still got a winning record. So they're going to be one of those teams for us when it comes down later in the season that might even be a playoff game. It might be one of those games that we play them. I mean, might be one of the games that's like our first playoff game with them. Who knows? Who knows? It could come down to them being our opponent to go to the AFC Championship because, I mean, we're Cincinnati, first of all.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is just.
And they're a little later on our list. Cincinnati is whole other thing in its entirety. Quickly, though, the Commanders beat the Falcons 24-16. This game doesn't really mean much. Two teams that are just kind of slugging it out, fighting for a wild card spot. Atlanta, they give and they take. Kyle Pitts looked good in this game for the first time since he got drafted. Desmond Ridder makes lots of bad decisions. And I mean like lots of bad decisions. Like ruining decisions. Like first and goal, or might have been second and goal. Second and goal, you're within a touchdown. You're throwing a back shoulder fade that comes up 5 yards short into the arms of the defender. So Desmond Ridder, if it was ever in doubt, definitely not the guy to carry you forward. He probably could last you this season. That would have temp QB until eventually you trade it for Caleb Williams or Drake May, but not the guy there. Then we had a tank bowl matchup between the Vikings and the Bears. Justin Jefferson did not play. This game was sad to watch.
Kirk is, I'm sorry, you are my fantasy quarterback. I'm about to start benching you and putting Goff in because without JJ, he
Jared
can't.
Goff's good.
He is good, and
Jared
I've been
Goff is
sleeping on
good.
him the whole year because in the first 3 weeks, Kirk's getting me over 30 points a week, and Goff was getting like 12 to 15. So I'm like, I'm not gonna ever switch that out. But now the last 2 weeks, ever since Jay Jettis has gotten hurt, I don't know if he just thinks there's no other person he can throw the ball to, or he doesn't have a running back, or what the case is, because he does have those weapons on this team. But he's just, I don't know. Without Jay Jettis, it looks like Kirk Cousins is nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you put up 19 against the Bears.
Definitely time to move on from the Kirk Cousins era.
Yep.
Mr. Thursday Night, Mr. Prime Time, Kirk Cousins, Kirk Thuggins.
Willoughby Wallaby
he's not
work.
he's not getting any younger. His contract up at the end of the season.
And that's an interesting thing too, is what's gonna happen with him and when he's a free agent after this season.
Right. I mean, what is the reality situation? I don't know, but I think it's time to move on. And it's also time for us here at Sports Hour to move on to a different analyst. Thank you so much for coming on, Brent. We'll see you up later on the show for some puck. But for now, we'll toss this to commercial. When you come back, a new person will be sitting to my left. Don't go anywhere.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. But we're going to keep cooking over here on Sports Hour. Welcome, Brock. Pleasure to have you on to talk some more NFL football.
It's always a pleasure.
We're going to head over to the second slate of games, starting with a huge upset. A team that I've been praising the whole year on this show. The San Francisco 49ers let us down this week, losing to the Cleveland Browns 17-19, and we've been saying it all year, Brock. Brock Purdy, system quarterback. He has his weapons. He has his reads. He lost his weapons due to injury this week and looked trash. Not trash. Sorry, it's a little bit too much of me. He looked pretty good. He got the job done. So basically, the Niners lost 19-17 to the Browns. But Brock Purdy, he got it. He got what he needed to do done, in my opinion.
I'm personally disappointed on the behalf of everything else that happened. I'm not going to place the blame on Brock Purdy. He's my entire, fantasy line right there, and it's just disappointing for the rest of the team.
Yeah, I never like to see players go down with injury for sure. It can be, it's part of the game. Injuries just happen. They've been happening at an extended rate this season, I think. But yeah, obviously the Niners offense did not look as dominant as they usually do with the loss of McCaffrey, who did score in this game before going out with the oblique injury. I did read online that it was deemed not serious. He won't miss extended time.
Yeah.
He might miss a game or two, but I think he should be back healthy sooner rather than later.
Prayers up for him.
Prayers up for him, I suppose. But yeah, the Niners, the game continued. The Browns did what they had to do. The defense, by the way, is on pace for an historic season.
Yes.
They're averaging 160 yards a game,
Yes.
like some ridiculously low number. I think it's 160 yards per game of total offense allowed. That is, if they keep that pace up for the season, that'd be the best defense we've seen in 52 years in the NFL. The Browns are playing out of their mind. They stymied a really potent attack. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan, the coach in San Francisco, really well offensively minded. And again, in Purdy's defense, game on the line, you're down by 2.
Yeah.
You got him into field goal range,
Yes.
and it wasn't a super long field goal either. I think it was 41 yards that Moody missed. So how much can you really put this on Purdy?
Not too much, I believe, but there is a level of like something to place the blame on Purdy. But I personally I don't want to place it, but like there is a level of like blame, pointing fingers on him. But it's a disappointing week for the 49ers indeed.
Great. I mean, great week for the Browns though. Picked up a really big win against a really tough team, and I think the Cleveland Browns could be a kind of surprising team this year. I mean, Deshaun Watson comes back hopefully soon. We'll see what happens there. Another team that hopes to get their quarterback done real soon is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
So sorry, Trevor Howard, your team got blown out. And I mean, whoa, it was ugly. Jacksonville put up 37 on the Colts' heads. No Anthony Richardson this game. He is out with a shoulder injury in his throwing arm. It's being considered, I think I read, that he might get the season-ending surgery on the AC joint.
Yeah.
I am, for one, in love with that idea. Anthony Richardson is 21 years old. He's got a very long, hopefully very successful career ahead of him. And we've seen quarterbacks a la Baker Mayfield play through AC joint injuries, and it just never goes well. I think, the Colts are never going to win it all this year anyways. But I do think in the flashes we've seen from Anthony Richardson that he's got all the tools in the toolkit. He just has to put it all together. And I think the worst thing you could do about in terms of his development is play him right now.
Yes, that's all they need to do. Granted, the Colts are like 3-3. So it depends on the game itself, but like it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They beat us, the Bills, already.
Yeah, Jags won back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, it's granted because it's the Waxonville Jaguars that I usually call them.
The Waxonville Jaguars.
But sorry, Trevor, but it's not your week.
Yeah, Colts didn't get it done. Minshew, not a very inspiring performance. He threw for 330 yards, while I'm rounding up there, 329 yards to be precise. Threw a touchdown as well, but he also gave the ball up 3 times. The running game that had been so strong this season completely disappeared. Zach Moss was the leading rusher, 7 carries, 21 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, his first game back, was considered, before he got injured last year, was the best running back in the league. 8 carries for 19 yards, no touchdowns, 2.38 average, which is not what you want to see and will definitely not win you football games. So it's time to go to the tool shed over in Indianapolis and figure out what is going on. Moving on, though, we have the Miami Dolphins continue their winning ways against the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
Carolina, trash.
Yes.
Trash team.
Yes.
Very trash team.
Yes.
they're not arguably, they are statistically the worst team in the league. Bryce Young has looked.
Let's just look at the score real quick overall. 0-6. What is going on in that coaching staff right there? Mm-hmm. You are not doing correctly.
The only team in the league that hasn't won.
Yes. What's going on? It's just, we need to kick down the door and just fix that team right now. Just what is going on with the Panthers? I'm getting fired up for no reason, but still, what's going on? 0-6.
You think you're a Panthers fan the way you're reacting to this? They're 0-6.
I admit, back in when they were facing I believe the Broncos, yes, I was a little bit of that because Cam Newton, where you at?
Yeah, they could definitely use Cam, and to me, Bryce Young, kind of like he did in Alabama.
Exactly.
He did enough to not play bad.
Yes.
Which is the highest praise I'm willing to give him on this show, because Bryce Young threw for 217 yards and a touchdown. Not horrible, but he's also not going to go out there and win you any games. And, you look at players like C.J. Stroud. You look at players like Anthony Richardson when they're healthy. You look at other rookie QBs that have come in the league years prior. Justin Herbert, I think about Josh Allen. I think about all of those quarterbacks have won their team games. And when you're spending the first overall pick on a QB, you expect them to do the same.
Yes, sir.
You're not really drafting projects first overall. At least you're hoping you're not. But I don't know. Bryce Young didn't do enough, in my opinion. He hasn't done enough this year so far. Tua Tagovailoa continues to be really good, 262 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill continues his absolutely ridiculous season. He's on pace for 2,300 yards right now, which would far and away break the record, which I think is currently 1,836 from Calvin Johnson. Miami looks to be one of the best teams in the NFL.
I don't.
Here's the catch, though. What? Their opponents that they've beaten this season have combined for, I think, 5-1? So 2 wins, 1 win, 3. They've combined for 6 total wins. So they have been spanking really bad teams, crushing them, beating them up.
That's the truest statement.
Destroying them.
Season.
But the only real, I don't want to be you can only beat who you can beat.
Yeah.
You can only beat the team you're playing against.
Yeah.
But the one game, the one prove it game as it's called, they had was against the Bills, where they got blown out.
Yes.
So, not to be hating, but Miami, I'm unmoved. I think I could beat the Carolina Panthers. Mike McDaniel, don't give me the headset, give me the play calling sheet. I can go out there and coach a win against the Carolina Panthers. Moving on, though, because I don't want you to get any more riled up than you already have. We can talk about a team that choked. They didn't even choke. They just did not come to play. Philly losing to the Zach Wilson-led New York Football Jets. What happened here? Brock, tell me. Make it make sense to me how Jalen Hurts lost to the Jets.
No, there's nothing, honestly. Jalen Hurts is usually a good, I think it's just an off week. That's all I want to say.
Think it was a trap game? Philadelphia got ahead of themselves?
It's not that. It's just Jalen Hurts is just he threw a TD. He had a couple intersections, but it's just, there's nothing to explain to what's going on. It's just the Jets have their good week. That's all it's just that. But I'm just really surprised that they lost. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I think the whole world is too. Philadelphia was the last remaining undefeated team. So I think the 70 something Miami Dolphins that were undefeated in the regular season have popped their champagne. Their record is still untarnished. Philly looked flat.
Yeah.
Offense wasn't really moving the ball, but I think the Jets' defense is the best unit in the NFL.
I agree with that.
Their head coach, Robert Saleh, went on record to say, we have played a multitude of quarterbacks this year, and we have embarrassed all of them. And as cocky as that sounds, it's Also kind of true. There really hasn't been a quarterback that played the Jets that came out and just stomped them. So
yeah, I agree with that.
So I think the Jets look good, and I think if Zach Wilson can kind of maintain this form, I think as long as he can play like Bryce Young, his defense can win him games. Philly, I never thought they were going to go undefeated. So obviously a reality check back to the lab for them. Quickly, though, I want to talk about the most exciting game last week, the Sunday Night Football matchup in Orchard Park. Buffalo Bills taking on the Giants. The Tyrod Taylor revenge game. The T-Mobile revenge game. We won.
Yes. By
a landslide, Brock. It was never in doubt. There was never a point.
Never in doubt. There was a little bit
I
of
was
doubt.
watching this game where I'm like, the Bills aren't going to win this game. They had, from the 1 yard line, Teron Johnson got away with murder. It was, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, it was 100% a defensive holding penalty. I don't know what the referees saw. Maybe they were just, the NFL needed the Bills to win.
Glasses.
The script writers coming off the strike thought it was amazing. Teron Johnson got away with murder there.
Yeah.
Bills win. Everyone's happy.
Thank
Thank you so much for coming on, Brock. It was always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And we're going to talk some more Buffalo sports with some hockey next. You'll see a familiar face. Don't go anywhere, guys.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's got to be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
Welcome back to Sports Hour, and welcome back to Brent Casillo. Different background. Which implies we're going to be talking about a different sport.
We're finally back.
Some puck.
The puck is
for the
back.
The NHL season debut on Sports Hour. Puck dropped, and boy has it started hot.
It has been starting really hot.
We got a couple of games going on right now. Our executive producer Jenna Polita is at one of these games. The Philadelphia Flyers are up 2-0 on the Vancouver Canucks. Canadians up 3. The Wild up 3-1 on the Canadians. Islanders and Coyotes deadlocked at 0 at the end of the first. The Lightning and the Sabres. Sabres giving them the business. Up 2 goals to nothing at the end of the first. Kings Jets tied at 0 with 9:10 left in the first. And the Oilers up 1 on the Preds. 9:10 left in the first period there. Brent, tell me it all. What's been going on in the NHL so far?
So you see, I thought, before I even get into the Sabres that have been making me very depressed their first 2 games.
As always.
Oilers and McDavid, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they're going to be starting to come to life now because they are up 1-0 on the Preds right now, but they had their first 2 games, which this also didn't really make sense. Their first 2 games back-to-back against Vancouver. First one was in Vancouver for their home opener. Next one was in Edmonton for Edmonton's home opener. They go to Vancouver. Vancouver's new captain, 21-year-old Quinn Hughes. You know what they do to Edmonton and McJesus? They beat them 8-1 in their home opener. 8-1. Then they go to Edmonton. Edmonton finally plays a good game. And then they still lose 4-3. So Edmonton's 0-2 to start the year. Sabres are 0-2. Fun fact, we are the only 2 teams right now in the league with 0 points still. Us and the Oilers. I would have never guessed that.
And we're also 2 teams that are currently leading their current games. To be fair, they have played the entirety of 2 hockey games.
Two games,
In
yep.
a season
so
with, I think, how many games is it in a season? 82
82.
games.
So
So we got 80 more.
We got a long season.
We're going to go 80-2 this year. We finally benched Olofsson.
Oh my God! Finally.
Thank everything.
Donnie Meatballs
was cooking something crazy with the lineup.
He must have like heard I don't even know.
He must have heard the masses of fans out there in Key Bank Center.
Because I told
calling for Olofsson's head.
I told Trevor Michael Howard Myers yesterday that we should put Krebs on the second line with the cousins in Paterka.
I just think Olofsson doesn't really fit in the lineup. He doesn't mesh well with his line mates. He doesn't mesh well with any line mates really. He hasn't been scoring at the clip he usually does. He's kind of like a roadblock with the puck.
He is.
If he gets the puck, possession, he either score or he'll lose possession.
Yep.
And it's really the only two options.
And he only can score power play goals.
Yeah,
so
and he's a power play merchant.
Yeah, he's a power play
We don't
guy.
need a power play merchant on the first or second line.
We have Tage, Cousins, Tuck, Skinner, Power, Darlene. Now the second line, the second power play line, we still got or Tage is at the point actually, but regardless, we don't need Olofsson all the time for the power play because realistically, more of the 60-minute game is played 5-on-5 than it is 5-on-4, 5-on-3, 4-on-3, 4-on-4, whatever the case may be.
Etc.
Etc. Yes. So we don't really need, and we said last year in the offseason, send him somewhere. Send Olofsson somewhere to where he could play with guys.
I mean, Kevin Adams loves Vegas.
He loves Vegas.
Kevin Adams. Yeah, I mean, we traded everything to them. We're commonly trading to like teams like Boston, etc.
Boston and them, yep.
Olofsson's a great fit over there because they got it all figured out. They're like, oh yeah, we got our point men, we got our defensemen, we got our forwards, we got our lines. We could use though as a certified goal scorer, a bona fide goal scorer. And they also have young prospector talent that can come over here and not be a certified goal scorer.
Exactly.
Olofsson does not fit the mold we need him to fit. I think we got to move on sooner rather than later. Or maybe he's got the yips. Maybe he's in a slump.
Yeah,
because I've been hating on Zemgus Girgensons since
he
day
scored the
one.
first goal of the game.
Zemgus Girgensons has more goals this season than Tage Thompson. So I don't know what's going on. Zemgus, my savior, putting us up big time against the Lightning. So maybe that's what we need. We need to put him down in AHL, let him score 30
let him score 30
with the
Americans.
With the Americans, and then bring him back
I said we should send him to Detroit. Send him to Detroit and try and get one of those young prospects.
Get Jack Hughes.
He's on New Jersey.
Oh.
Detroit has Dylan Larkin.
Same color scheme.
Dylan Larkin. But he's the vet. He's their vet. Like we would need to get somebody like a guy like I don't know Lucas Raymond or one of their young prospects that would be able to come over here. And Olofsson, honestly, on a team like Detroit, he'd probably fit in really well because they don't have many veterans. Like we don't have many veterans either, but they have Dylan Larkin. Olofsson's power play guy. Detroit's power play is not that good. He'd fit in well over there. He'd probably actually produce more over there than he does over here anyway. Mm-hmm. So honestly, that's what I thought was going to happen. Then I don't know, in the offseason we were seeing, we might get Nylander from Toronto and all this other stuff. No, that was never happening. Nylander will not leave Toronto, first of all.
And if he does leave Toronto, he's definitely not coming 30 minutes south to Buffalo.
Yeah.
If he's in Toronto, he's not coming to probably their biggest rival.
But also with Toronto, that's another interesting topic because now their top guys, Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Johnny T, which is hilarious because all of Toronto fans hate Johnny T. But those other three guys, their contracts they're getting to the end.
They're going to have a lot of extensions. And
pretty sure
got all of their best players under contract for a decade.
Yep.
The Buffalo Sabres.
And if they go to playoffs this year and next year, I shouldn't even say if, they've been in the playoffs the last 5 years in a row. So when they go to playoffs, if they still struggle to make it as far as they should be making it with that amount of talent on that team, I won't be surprised in the next couple of years to be seeing Matthews gone, Marner gone, Nylander gone, and
Matthews wearing blue and gold.
That would be crazy.
Austin Matthews suiting up for the Swords.
You know who should be wearing blue and gold? A 30-something-year-old veteran who has 3 Stanley Cups, who was unbelievable on Chicago and had a pretty decent season with Rangers last year, who's just sitting on his couch at home doing nothing, Patrick Kane. He's just doing nothing. Kevin Adams.
Come home.
Bring him home.
Come home, Patty.
He would be a great vet to put on this
Come
team.
home. Get the same house you got over on Lakeshore.
And then that really sells Olofsson because then you put Kane on the power play. Olofsson, you're never sniffing the ice again.
Yeah, I mean, Kane is literally just Victor Olofsson, but like 5 times better.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's been like a match made in heaven that I've thought since like 5 years ago, when Kane was a free agent back then and before he went back to Chicago. He's always been rumored to come here. I don't see why he shouldn't come here. He grew up here. He's old. He's washed up. No one wants him. And you know who loves old, washed up players nobody wants?
The Buffalo Sabres,
The Buffalo Sabres. Nothing better than our 41-year-old goalie. Give me my 37-year-old.
Give me my 37-year-old two-time Cup.
Two-time
Willoughby, Wallaby,
winner.
Wayne, Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
That's what we need right there.
We need Kano.
We do.
And
that's the other thing, too, is these other times he's been a free agent, all the rumors are bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. And then within the next 2 days, he either he usually re-signed with Chicago. And then last year, bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. What does he do? Nope, I'm just going to go and play with the Rangers and
I'm gonna go eat ice cream, get some 2 scoops.
Go get some nice little pizza.
Get some cone
maybe
cake.
some not wings, because Buffalo has better wings than New York does.
Oh,
but
that's not even remotely close.
No, not
I think
close,
New York pizza in general is not a good thing.
Honestly, I
don't like New York style pizza.
No, I like Buffalo pizza better.
I like I'm a Chicago deep dish guy.
Chicago's got
Chicago
great
deep
pizza.
dish. Like I see, maybe that's why I stayed.
Maybe.
Kano was like, I can't leave my big
pizza.
my big dish. I can't go back to that New York style that Buffalonians love so much. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that in the comments. New York style pizza, trash.
Mid.
Not great. And you know who else is trash? The Arizona Coyotes.
The abandoned factories.
The abandoned factories.
Dude, they beat the Devils in a shootout.
Of course they
beat the Devils in a shootout.
Of course they did.
I have no idea how. I have no idea where it came from. And another thing with them, you know how for the NFL for many years people were always saying that the Colts were not a good team, but they were a fun team to watch just because they were like young and you never really know what to expect.
Right.
That is exactly what's happening with Arizona. Both of the games that they have played, they lost 2-1 actually to the Rangers. Meanwhile, they come into our home barn for our home opener and we have an RJ video form and everything, and they beat us 4-1. But they can only beat the abandoned factories by 1 goal. Regardless, they're fighting, they're playing gritty, and I am all here for it.
They're currently losing to the Islanders 1-0, but it means still plenty of ice time left. Just about 5 minutes into the second period. They got to figure it out.
They do got to figure it out.
They've been bad for a while.
I think they're actually finally going into a real arena
they're trending in a positive direction.
They are.
We'll say that.
Yeah, they are doing that.
How positive they are, it's up to interpretation.
I think they still got another 2 years with some good draft picks because their team's also young and.
Yeah, and they got a new coaching staff I think coming in shortly. The factory's getting refurbished.
Yeah, factory is getting refurbished.
Getting a little bit of a facelift.
They called Daly out of the Chicagoans to go down there and fix it for him.
Fix them.
Fix them.
Because he works too damn hard.
He works too hard. And the Coyotes work too hard to not have their own arena. Because, last year they played at ASU's arena for the whole season, which is kind of embarrassing. Yeah.
Arizona's not a good state for stadiums, I guess.
You know what's also crazy? We said it's crazy that Gergenson's got his first goal before Tage. Do you know who else got their first goal before Tage?
Who?
Well, Middlestat, but I'm not even going to go there yet. The number 1 draft pick.
Package him with Olofsson.
Connor Bedard.
Oh, my God.
And you know who he scored against?
I was trying to go the whole segment without talking about the chosen one. The prodigal son.
He got his first
one. The future of the franchise.
Yeah, he is.
Connor Bedard. I still think the lottery is rigged, by the way. Absolutely. Zero doubt in my mind that the lottery was rigged for Chicago to get Connor Bedard because the only team that had a shot at getting the first overall pick that anybody in the entire world cared about was the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yep.
And they just so happened to get the first overall pick.
Yep. But the people say the same thing when we get the first pick.
When we get the first pick.
But what they fail to understand is we go on 18-game losing streaks.
Yeah, and who wants to watch that?
Nobody.
I
mean, I'll
and
spend
unfortunately,
$5 to go to the game, but
nobody will be able to watch this segment any longer, as it is time to switch over. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break, and then we're going to talk some stick and ball with Mike. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And welcome back to some Sports Hour content and some MLB content with our good old buddy Mike. Mike, how you doing?
Pretty good. Happy to be back.
You know who's not doing pretty good right now?
The Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hasta luego, Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, or sorry, Matt Olson. Matt Olson. Freddie Freeman Jr. is also.
He's also gone. They also are frauds.
Also
the Dodgers
frauds.
are also frauds.
The Los Angeles Fraudsters got bounced. See ya. And the Atlanta Braves.
Are gone.
Or should we call them the Atlanta Cry Babies? The Atlanta Cry Bravies.
The Atlanta Frauds.
Because they just keep yapping. Yap on Twitter.
They
on
love the
social
chirp.
media. The
They
Braves
love the chirp.
fans.
But the Mets are gonna Met. The Mets are gonna Met.
Postseason format is too bad. They had what? An extra day of rest? You really? I want to meet a Braves fan so I can sit them down, look at them truthfully, and think, you genuinely believe that 6 days rest is the reason you lost in the postseason? I cannot believe that. I don't think a single Atlanta Braves fan is actually at home thinking, man, if we had 5 days instead of 6, we would have won this series in 3 games. No, we got outplayed everywhere. Pitching was poor. Hitting was bad. Your defense lacked good stuff. The Atlanta Braves deserved to lose. And if they didn't deserve to lose, then they wouldn't have lost. I don't know what to tell you, Atlanta. Better luck next year.
But we have the best record in baseball. Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, you had the best regular season record. We are in the postseason after the regular season.
Live.
It's right here. Quick etymology lesson for you guys back home. The prefix post means after. So everything that comes before this no longer matters. Sorry. That's my little soapbox sermon on why the Atlanta Braves suck.
Yeah.
Phillies beat them 3-1. This could be Philadelphia's year. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I could see them going back to back.
Philly looks strong. Back to back. I mean, team looks solid. You got Mike. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna forget his name. Castellanos. We got Nicky Castellanos becoming the first player in the history of the MLB to hit was it 2 home runs in back-to-back games?
Yeah, something like that.
Some ridiculous.
Something.
Sorry, you go.
Something crazy. I don't know. The Phillies are the epitome of a team that is, they're built to barely scrape into the postseason and just destroy everything in their path. And Castellanos is hitting bomb. I don't even know how to pronounce his name properly, but he's hitting bombs.
Castellanos
constantly.
Always
at the most awkward times.
Fear for your safeties, because Castellanos, whenever he goes deep, something horrible has happened in the world. I think it's so funny. I think it was during the postseason actually, where the commentator it was during Nick's. I think they got to be doing it on purpose. It was during Nick's AB. And the commentator was talking about some manager who had recently passed away or suffered a stroke or something, and Castellanos went deep. It's uncanny how often it happens.
And the first one was, of course, the commentator was apologizing for saying something he wasn't supposed to on air. And, he's just explaining it. And in the middle of his apology, he has to be and that goes deep to deep right center field.
With a deep drive to left center, that will be a home run. And I think it's time that the Houston Astros find some faith in their game because they are currently in a rough spot.
They sure are.
Sorry to the Howard fans back home and in the control room. The Stros look trash. The pitching isn't there. The bats aren't hot. I mean, they got shut out game 1 against the Rangers.
Yeah.
No runs. And then, the other night they lost 5-4 in game 2. It's not over. It's not over till the fat lady is singing. She's warming up, though.
Yeah.
You know, she's
getting ready to go.
She's going through her scales.
She's in the green room. She's doing shots.
She's getting her makeup on.
She's doing shots of olive oil. You know, she's getting ready to go.
She's getting ready.
And it's just another team with an A for their logo that are complete postseason frauds.
Postseason. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Because again, the Diamondbacks are trailing 1-0 to the Phillies right now in the top of the third. They're down 1-0 to Phillies. So maybe the A is the curse.
It is.
I think the Vegas Athletics. They got to figure it out.
Yep.
I would see like a rebrand coming on. You know, the H.
Yep.
The H in the center.
Yeah.
Maybe like turn it horizontal.
You know, flip it. Something crazy. I don't know. Maybe a spaceship.
That's
spaceship.
That's a great idea. The Astros space ship.
I don't know. Houston does have a problem though, and it doesn't look like it's going to be solved.
Houston, we have a problem. Baltimore also has a problem.
Baltimore also has a problem that they are no longer in the postseason.
Yeah, their problem is they're out on the couch, got some Funyuns, got some licorice, and this team, they got smacked.
Yeah, they really.
Their pitching fell apart. Maybe Felix Bautista was a bigger part of this formula than we thought, but gave up 11 runs in game 2 against the Rangers. I mean, the Rangers also just a hot team.
Yeah.
Rangers are hitting on all cylinders right now. Beat them game 1 3-2, game 2 11-8, and then of course they completed the sweep 7-1. I don't really think it's much on the offense. I mean, obviously game 1, game 3 they only put up a single run, and game 1 only put together 2 points offensively. But it all kind of looked bad for Baltimore this series.
No, I mean the theme of this postseason seems to be teams that were just trucking everything in their path the entire regular season, just not coming to play in the postseason.
And what do you think is the cause of that?
I really don't know. I think it has something to do with just the way baseball teams are designed. I mean, they're built to make it to the postseason, and then once they do, they're like, I don't know what to do now.
Right, and I mean, we talk a lot on the show about how baseball is a game of runs. It's not a game of runs, but a game of hot streaks, which is a logical fallacy, but also does apply. When teams are playing well, they happen to continue playing well for an extended period of time, and I guess maybe in baseball more so than anything, it's really just about getting hot at the right times.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing too is that baseball is somewhat of an interesting sport in that a lot of it is mathematical, and you can predict just the thing of where the elevation of the field is can change the velocity of a ball.
The wind that night.
And the fact that all the stadiums are different. A home run.
The density of the air.
Yeah, a home run in the not minor league. The home run in the Child's Baseball Park of Yankee Stadium isn't a home run anywhere else.
The Little League.
Stadium.
The Little League Stadium. The short porch. Isn't a home run in other stadiums.
Yeah.
And I think, again, no team is out of the LCS right now, but the Rangers, they're looking hot. They're looking solid. They're looking like a team if things go the way they're appearing to go, we'll have a Rangers-Phillies matchup in the World Series, and that might not be a bad series. I think the Phillies are playing really great right now, but also Texas. It's good to see them. It's good to see the Rangers having some representation.
The battle for Texas.
The battle for Texas. I know, Trevor, you want the Houston Astros to play better. I hope they get swept because that's what cheaters deserve. Thank you so much for coming on, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to have you on. And don't go anywhere. We're going to talk some very high-speed, high-intensity circle driving with Katie Lee next. Don't go anywhere.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's got to be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
Welcome back to Sports Hour for our final segment tonight. Pleasure to have you on, Catherine.
I mean, final one, best one.
Final one, best one. We saved the best for last on pasta day. Hope you got the bottom half of your bowl. You only got that one meatball left around. You know, you're saving. Your fettuccine Alfredo still has got some good cheese left. Tell me about Formula One, Katie.
Okay, well, maybe we should talk about this livery first. So the livery that's on the screen, it's the new Haas livery that they put out for Austin, which is this weekend, and
it is ugly.
Yes, it is very ugly.
Wowzers.
I mean, it is their home race.
I hope they lose just so I don't gotta look at it. You know?
It is. I mean, they're not gonna win
because
it's Haas. But
Haas is not great.
They put this out, and from what I saw, people did like it, but I think it's incredibly ugly. But
you know, each to their own. I'm not really seeing what the carbon fiber has to do with the American flag. Like, you could have like one or the other. Why do you got both? That was my question. You know, it just seems like overload.
I just think that like the stars are really ugly, but there is this like a certain limit of carbon fiber that they have to have showing.
Really?
Yeah, and that's like in the rules. So.
I luckily got Haas's lawyer on call to tell us all about why things are done the way they are done.
But they previewed this yesterday, I think, and all I have to say is it's ugly, and I don't like it. But
it's gonna sit up there for the next 8 minutes.
Yeah. But also into midfield teams, it was pronounced today, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, today, that Alpine has a couple big names coming into their team and investing lots of money.
It's a new era.
Yeah.
In Formula One.
So
the league was forever changed when Alpine started getting that cheddar.
So earlier in the season, it was announced that Ryan Reynolds and I don't remember the other guy's name. It's the other guy who he invested with in the football club.
Rob McElhenney.
Yes. They invested in Alpine earlier in the season, and it just got released today.
Full financial takeover.
Full
ownership of Alpine.
It just got released today for 200 million euros. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Roy McIlroy, and Anthony Joshua have invested in Alpine as well. Now, I only know.
What an odd collection of people.
I only know who Patrick Mahomes
is this a money laundering scheme?
are.
What is going? So we got an American football player, British golfer, and a British boxer, all getting in on Alpine, with also Canadian actor Ryan Reynolds and Philadelphian actor Rob McElhenney. It's a new era though, and they're now my favorite racing team because Ryan Reynolds is involved and he's Canadian and I'm Canadian. So,
but I think Alpine does need that financial support. I mean, every team needs that financial support, but I think Alpine. Changing from Renault to Alpine, it is a big change because Renault, they're their own engine. Like, it's hard to change from an engine. I don't know.
No, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's hard to change engines. Yeah.
And they've only had one win so far in their time as Alpine, and that was Esteban Ocon in Hungary of 2021, and that was not expected at all. So that'll be interesting to see how they change.
Yeah, we'll see how Pierre Gasly does with the new money in his wallet. Pierre Gasly getting that pay raise. He finished 12th in Qatar, so hopefully he steps it up.
Yeah. We'll have to see, because there is actually a big race for second in the driver's standings right now, and it's between Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and Aston Martin. And Aston Martin did hold that for a majority of the season, and then they kind of fell off. And then Mercedes is up there now, so they're used to being at the top. So,
sure. Yeah.
And then Ferrari is a couple points behind them, and then I think McLaren is kind of out of the running. They're a little farther behind.
Even with the domination in Qatar, I think it's a little bit too late.
But they're a little farther behind, so yeah, I think it is too late. But that's just me.
Just the way the world works. Betting man's money is on McLaren for me. I just don't think you bet against Sir Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Sorry, not McLaren. Mercedes. Sorry, Mercedes is who I'm riding with. I think Sir Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he just doesn't not win.
Exactly. Well, speaking of Lewis Hamilton, so it was announced that in rumors that Sergio Perez might be getting the boot from Red Bull.
Goodness.
If he doesn't finish second.
Goodness.
If he doesn't finish second in the Drivers' Championship.
And that's why there is no bigger Lewis Hamilton fan on the planet than your host, Ethan Smith. Every race, I'm like, Hamilton, just take. I want to see him in prime form. I want to see the cleanest overtakes. I want to see the most tight defensive driving you've ever seen ever. Anything to make Sergio Perez lose his seat. This bum, has been getting carried by Verstappen. Verstappen has slung this dude over his shoulder every race. And he's out here hurting people, driving dangerously, causing crashes. Is someone keeping track of this? Is there a stat out there that is most crashes caused in a Formula One season?
There is.
Who leads?
Maybe not a Formula One season, but there is a Deconstructors Championship. And Logan Sargent is at the top, causing $2 million in damage.
Well, Sargent's no one cares about Sargent.
But Sergio Perez is in the top 3.
Yeah,
he is
because
third.
this dude is causing chaos on the track. I mean, and there's dudes out here who are getting DNFs, like Sargent and like Hamilton, when they are like fighting for real life money or real life jobs. And since Perez is just out here, it doesn't matter because I got Verstappen up there in first, and he can do whatever he wants, and he could literally drive with his feet, and he would still win.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, so frustrating that Sergio Perez has a seat when there's far more deserving people that don't.
So, exactly. So this kind of brings in Liam Lawson. So Liam Lawson is done driving for Formula One at the moment. If Daniel Ricciardo hurts his hand again or gets hurt again or Yuki Tsunoda gets hurt, Liam Lawson is in the AlphaTauri. But, so at Austin, it's cleared. It's confirmed that Daniel Ricciardo will be racing in Austin for AlphaTauri. So if Perez gets fired from Red Bull at the end of the season, Daniel Ricciardo will take that seat. And I'm not really favored in Daniel Ricciardo taking that seat, but I'm also not favored in Yuki Tsunoda taking that seat either, because I just think that
neither of those guys inspire confidence in the Red Bull name.
I mean, Daniel Ricciardo left because he didn't want to be behind Max Verstappen, but the whole team is centered around Max Verstappen now.
Everybody's behind Max Verstappen.
And it's very clearly centered around Max Verstappen.
Yes,
and
which makes total sense.
Yes, which does make sense, but Daniel Ricciardo didn't like that, and that's why he left in 2018 to go to Renault, where he didn't do very well, and then he left Renault to go to McLaren, where they cut his contract short a year for Oscar Piastri. So that's how he ended up being the Red Bull reserve driver, and that's how he ended up getting into the AlphaTauri car, because it's in the Red Bull family. So I'm not really favored in them putting him in that, but that's their choice. And I hope that if Perez gets the boot and Daniel Ricciardo gets into Red Bull, that Liam Lawson will
makes them doubt
that Liam
makes
Lawson
them
will get
regret,
into AlphaTauri.
and then he'll just smack.
Yeah.
And he'll just, because I think that kid's got so much talent.
Yeah, but
It's not going to matter though, because Verstappen's just going to win again next year.
Yeah, but there is a triple header coming up. So this week it's Austin, and then the next weekend is Mexico, and then the next weekend after that is Brazil, and then I believe the one after that, there's might be a couple weekends in between, is Vegas. So we'll see how that goes.
And what happens in Vegas happens in Vegas.
And qualifying is at 3 a.m. here, so I will not be watching.
It's going to be a late night for Catherine Lee over there.
The race starts at 1,
She's
so
definitely going to make sure to keep that on everybody's mind. Check the highlights and keep us informed. Thank you so much for coming on, Katie Lee. And if you at home like to stay informed about everything that happens here at WNYF TV, make sure to follow the Instagram over on Instagram, obviously, at WNYF TV. And thank you guys all so very much for watching. It's been another great hour of Sports Hour, and there it is at WNYF TV. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you all next week. Basement Hendricks Hall. Thank you so much.